This is not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of the annual Purge sanctioned by the U.S. government. DNFing books for any reasons have been authorized for use during the Purge. Books that are not in the included category for the video have been granted immunity at this time and shall not be purged. Commencing at the siren, any and all DNFing will be legal until the end of this video. Bookstores of any kind will be unavailable until the end of the video until the Purge concludes. Blessed by Barnes & Noble, indie bookstores, and all other booksellers, a nation reborn. May God be with you all. Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be starting our episode 2 of the Fairyloot Purge, and I know you guys were expecting that we were going to use prompts and continue with that, because you guys know that I like to stay with the same theme for individual things, but I think I'm not enjoying doing the prompts right now. I think I kind of want to know what I have coming up so I can decide if I want to read it or not, and we can adjust from there. I think I'm gonna go to our original, what we did with our original, I think, Illumicrate videos, which is oldest to newest, which means I do need to reorder these again. They are moved. I think I had originally them put over there, and they were in worst to best rated on Goodreads, and then I moved them over here, and that all got all mixed up. And then now I want to switch oldest to newest. I just want to get through my oldest ones. That's what I want to do. That's what I was thinking about when I was downstairs. And it's just been so long since I've done the first episode. It's been a really long time at this point. I really want to get this out. And I think the idea of reading my oldest ones is more motivating than having to pull prompts. I'm gonna show myself reorganizing these. I don't know if I'll do a time lapse or just show it in normal time. We'll see what it looks like, but I'll put some nice little cozy music over it. You can either watch or listen to an audiobook or do something while I do this, but I need to reorganize these and it's gonna take me a little bit, so I thought it would be fun to actually show you guys my reorganization. But I do have the order. I went through and did that, so I know where they need to go. It's just actually pulling them off the shelves and actually doing it, which I'm not super excited about. So let's pull these off and actually reorganize these. I'm gonna be listening to When the Moon Hatched while I do that, because I did pull that for my members only. So if you want to watch a vlog about When the Moon Hatched, I would go join members and go check that out. But it was for our fantasy bingo, so I am listening to that right now. I'm actually really enjoying it so far. So if you want to see that vlog, definitely go check that out. But otherwise, we're going to reorganize this. So let's get going.
close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Finding life along the way, melodies we haven't played. No, I don't want no rest. Echoing around these walls, fighting to create a song. I don't wanna miss a beat. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
All right, here's everything in order except for the Half King. I forgot to look up romantasy books. It is my only romantasy book that is left. Everything else has been either, I think everything's been gotten rid of, which is crazy because I am getting the romantasy subscription again. But anyway, this is, I think, my last romantasy subscription, so I need to see where it fits in here. And then the only other thing, Seven Faceless Saints goes here, but because it's so itty bitty, it would look super weird and I don't want it, I don't know. I just felt weird putting it in the middle here. So I need to remember that this goes between Spice Road and the Foxglove King. So how I did this, so the older ones are on the top. So this Vicious Grace, then the Darkening, then Spells for Forgetting, all the way down to Foxglove King, then In the Lives of Puppets, down to Scarlet Alchemist, and then this one, not Half King, City of Stardust, down to Gods Below. So right now, Gods Below, I believe, is our newest one that we haven't read yet. And we have read a lot. So this is all that I have left. Obviously, this could be a lot of Fairyloot Purge videos. My assumption is I will be DNFing a lot of things just based on what I'm seeing here. So I'm thinking maybe 3 videos, but I mean, if I like everything or read everything, it could be 1, 2, 3. So that would be, so 1, 2, 3, 1 episode, 1, 2, 3, episode 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, that's 5. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Okay, so it could be up to like 6 episodes. So I mean, we could have a lot in here. It could be 6 episodes. I don't think it's going to be that. My assumption is 3 more. So we already have 1 episode of Fairyloot, and now we're moving on to episode 2. That being said, they are in order, and I do like this because I can see what I'm excited about. I can see what we're reading. So it does look like for this first episode, we will be starting with this Vicious Grace, which I'm really excited about. And then we'll be moving into the Darkening, which is good that I have these 2 because I have sequels for these 2. So it'll be really nice to know if it was actually worth buying those sequels, because I think I stopped buying sequels after the Darkening, because I don't think I have sequels for any of these other ones. Yeah, because you can't find this one anymore. Did not get the Hurricane Wars sequels, Swordcatcher, which I don't like this cover for Swordcatcher, so that's that. So yeah, we're gonna see, but yeah, these are the only 2 that I bought sequels for. But yeah, we are starting with this Vicious Grace, but this first episode, ooh, I got some marks on this one. These books are also kind of getting beat up because of how much they're being moved around, so that's another reason I really need to get to these backlist books so I can put them in like safe spaces if I really like them and see if I can get sequels if I end up loving them. So we are going to start with This Vicious Grace. I was under the impression that this is vampires, but I actually don't think it is vampires, which is really funny. I honestly have no idea what this book is about because it is nothing like what I thought. So I have no idea what this is about, but we are starting with This Vicious Grace. And if this video goes well, then the only 3 books in this video are going to be This Vicious Grace, The Darkening, and Spells for Forgetting. Now, obviously, if I DNF something, we will just keep adding until we fully read 3 books. So, I mean, this video could be everything. If I hate everything, this could be everything. And the point of this video, I want to say this very quickly because sometimes I get comments on these Purge videos about, well, why do you buy them if you don't read them? Especially with these old Fairyloot books, my interest is like really, really high when I originally get them because I do go through and I vet every book that I get, and I generally am super excited when I get them, and then I get busy with other stuff and I read other things, and then I don't end up reading them when I'm most interested in them. The purpose of the Purge videos is to make sure I'm not just forcing myself to read things I'm no longer interested in, and that's kind of why we do them. Like, sort of the purpose of this is see things that I don't like and get rid of it. So I just kind of want to put that out there. So anyway, let's start with This Vicious Grace. I really, really hope I like this one, especially since I have the sequel. This is a little bit awkward, but finish this book. I finished this book with no updates, nothing. It's actually funny because I got to 60% last night and I was like, oh, I need to update. After a certain time at night, I'm like, I don't want to update. It takes me a lot to get up out of bed and update. And instead I was just like, I kind of just want to lay here and read this. I kind of just want to see what's going to happen in this story. So I read into the night and then woke up this morning when it was still dark and read also. So I did just finish this book without any type of updating. I'm so sorry. So let me take you through the journey that was this book. There really wasn't that much to talk about, I will say. Not a lot to talk about because I generally just had a really good time while reading this one. And I really was thinking it was a 5-star for a while. That's kind of what I'll talk about in this little update. But this is a 4-star. I'm going to give this a 4-star. I very much enjoyed it. I will be continuing in the duology. I already have the second book. This is one of those books that I bought, the second book from Fairyloot, before reading the first book. I try not to do that anymore. So I will be continuing this, and I actually will be putting this as a members vlog just because sequels are really weird to fit into videos on the main channel. So if you're not a member, you will still see my rating in a wrap-up whenever I actually get to this one. But the actual vlog for this will be over on members, spoiler free. But for this one, it's just very interesting. It was very interesting. I really like the story. This one also was really funny because this was the book that I went into thinking it was vampires until I was talking about this book and my friend told me, she's like, this is not vampires. This is not vampires. What are you talking about? So luckily, she saw that I thought it was vampires and warned me that it wasn't, because if I went into this thinking it was vampires, I would have been very disappointed. I had a completely different view of what this book was. So I am happy that that was corrected for me before I read this. But this one is following our main character, who is basically like an amplifier. Like, very much reminds me of Shadow and Bone, but she's like a physical, actual amplifier instead of having amplifiers on you. But she is an amplifier and she has to use the magical powers of other people. Unfortunately, it's like a really, really deadly power, and so if she uses too much, she will kill the Fonte, the person that has the power. So the whole point is there's this like ritual. She's supposed to pick somebody and they save their island from these demon looking insect kind of things. And that's kind of the whole point, is that she keeps killing her Fontes because she is so powerful and she doesn't understand how to control it. And the island is getting really, really nervous because the big insect day is approaching and it's not going well. We're entering this story upon the death of like her third Fonte, and normally if one is killed, it's not a big deal, but if you kill 2 or more, it's looking real bad. Like, that's not a thing that happens. And so the whole point of this book is she is trying to control her power, find her place on the island, find herself again because she has lost herself over the years. And obviously there is a romance in this book. I really enjoyed the romance. I really liked our main character. It was a 5-star until the last probably 70%. I do think a lot of, so this is like a if you touch me you die kind of situation. So like she can't touch anybody, or it like saps their life force from them. So it's a plot that is like, you're able to make a lot of tension with this because she can't touch the main romantic interest. Unfortunately, I do think that the tenseness between her and the romance did die down pretty fast because of reasons. I would have preferred more tension and less being able to be around each other for a little bit longer. Like, I do think it resolved kind of quickly between the two of them. I would have loved that to be drawn out more and then potentially bring it into the second book. And then the ending was very anticlimactic. It was like she got to the last like 50 pages and she was like, oh, I gotta kind of wrap up the stuff after the fight. The fight was actually really, really good, but I gotta wrap stuff up really quickly with all of the relationships, and I gotta tie a nice little ribbon around them to then conveniently come up with a plot point to go into book 2. Like, it was one of those weird ones. Like, I feel like most books, it's very natural. It's very obvious what we're going to be doing in the next book. It's like, okay, we're heading to this point, but there's obviously a missing key point to this thing, and it's a theme throughout the book. And so when you get to the end, it doesn't really have to be spelled out for you. It's just, there's a second book and you're like, yeah, this is probably what the second book is about. This one literally tells you what they're going to be doing in the next book, because it is like a good reveal, but it's very abrupt. Like, the last 10 pages are so abrupt. And so there's no, like, they made the big discovery, like, in the last, like, 2 pages, when I would have preferred it happening before the fight, and you can bring that thought process through the fight and into the final pages, instead of having the reveal be, like, the final page, and it's like, oh, okay, this is conveniently what the next book is going to be. Because it's like, literally, and now we have to go do this. That is literally how the book ended. So that took away a little bit of my enjoyment, just because it took me out of the story. Like, it suddenly felt like I was reading a synopsis for the next book instead of finishing this book. So that's why this book is getting a 4-star. Everything else, though, about this I really liked. Again, I liked the romance. I liked the relationship between them. I liked the found family that was in this. I liked the setting. I liked the conflict that we had. It was very interesting. It was very different. So I really very much appreciated this book. I'm really glad we ended up getting to this one. And yeah, I'm really happy that we started off the Purge actually with a book that I really, really like. So that's always nice, because, if you guys have seen other Purges, all I'm looking for is to read 3 books. So technically a Purge, there may not be any purging. I could read The Darkening and Spells for Forgetting and like all 3 of these books and we'd be done. And then we just move on to the next Purge. That is a thing that can happen. Does it normally happen? No, but it is a thing that can happen. But anyway, 4-star for this one. Very happy with this. We're moving on to the next book. This is the best way that I want to do this. And obviously it's not 7 Faceless Saints. I don't remember. I think 7 Faceless Saints is down here. But we're going to be reading The Darkening. I haven't heard great things about this one. I'm going to keep my thoughts open, my heart open to this book. Have not seen good things. I do think this is one of the lower rated ones on this Fairyloot shelf. There's definitely some other ones that are lower, but I do think this is one of the lower ones. Prince Dalka was born for one purpose: to protect his home from the storm, a deadly force that surrounds his city and curses everyone it touches. This feels very This Vicious Grace already, just like a different version of what is happening. Vesper Vale is the daughter of failed revolutionaries. Oh, it looks like we're gonna get dual perspectives. That'll be kind of nice after just having one perspective in This Vicious Grace. Vesper Vale is the daughter of failed revolutionaries. Since the queen sentenced her mother to death by the storm, she and her father have been on the run. So when the queen's soldiers, led by Prince Dalka, catch up to Vesper's father, she will do whatever it takes to save him from sharing her mother's cruel fate. Even arm herself with her father's book of dangerous experimental magic. Even infiltrate the prince's elite squad of soldier sorcerers. Even cheat her way into his cold heart. But when Vesper learns that there's more to the story of her mother's death and that her home is in dire peril, she has little choice: trust the devious prince with her family's secrets, or follow her mother's footsteps into the storm. Interesting. So it looks like we have a similar situation of like an island in distress, and you have somebody who's going to save the day, but you have people outside of it who may know some other things. So that's interesting. So we're gonna read The Darkening. I am hoping I enjoy this one as much or more, because I really don't want to have bought that sequel for nothing. So yeah, hopefully we end up liking this one. This one is a little bit shorter than This Vicious Grace. This one's about 386 and this one was like 430 or something. So let's go read The Darkening. I am almost 50% into this book. I think I'm at about 47%. I'm on chapter 16 of The Darkening. And I don't have a lot to say about this one. Like, this one's really weird that I'm definitely gonna finish it, but I don't have any opinions about this. It is so middle of the road, this book just exists, that I don't really have any commentary on it. So it's very strange to talk about a book that you just have no feelings about at all. So I'm trying to come up with actual commentary and actual critiques of the book, and I'm struggling, not because it's really good, but because it's so bland. I guess there's your commentary. It's bland as hell. So this is following our main character, who is living in this place. This was not explained very well. But there you go, there's another commentary. World was not explained very well or set up very well. She's living in this place, might be the whole world, who knows, where storms are like a really, really big deal, and there's people who have specific powers that are able to fight these storms, and there's like monsters that are created from these storms, and you can become storm touched, which either leaves you with powers or really, really, really sick. And again, also not explained very well, but it's following her, and she has to go on a journey to find her father because he was part of a rebellion and has been captured, and she is trying to figure out a way to get to him. The thing is, everything about this book is so convenient. Like, everything is so convenient. Like, I'm like, how do I explain this? It's so formulaic, and everything is just so easy. The romance is so insta-love obsession, like, already. It's not very interesting. The main characters are so bland. They have no personalities, really. Like, there's nothing interesting about them. They could be any character from any fantasy book that I've ever read. Just a very basic mold. And that's kind of what the whole book feels like. It's just so formulaic and basic. And like I said, it's just so convenient. Like, everything is so convenient. She conveniently meets someone who is able to easily bring her within reach of these incredibly revered and powerful people that she is now just in their circle without them really questioning or thinking about it. It's just so convenient. It's so convenient. And then she just like happens upon answers for things. Just like literally stumbles upon them and just kind of like figures it out really easily. And it's just like, oh my God. Like, I feel like it's just so easy. Like, I feel like if things were this easy, the rebellion group would have had a significantly easier time already toppling the current regime than what right now they're super underground and terrified of everything and stuff. But like, if it's this easy to infiltrate the castle, how have we not just absolutely demolished this kingdom at this point? It's just, it doesn't make a lot of sense. It doesn't make a lot of sense. So I don't know where I'm at with this one, because I'm not hating it. I'm not liking it. I'm not hating it. I am just like existing in the same space as this book. So, I mean, I guess I probably should DNF it, but because I have the second book, I kind of don't want to. And there's nothing in me that's going like, yes, I need to DNF it. Does that make sense? I feel like I'm having a very weird time with this book, where normally this formulaic and this bland, I'm like, yeah, I'm done. I'm just bored. I don't really want to continue with this. And that could happen later in the book. I'm 47% through. I don't think so. Already being this far in, I feel like I am just going to finish it. I am curious if I'm going to want to continue in this story, because I can't see how this is going to be a duology, because again, don't really know the plot of this. Like, there really isn't a plot besides save your father. That's it. And it's just your like basic story of wealthy class treating lower class like shit, but it's like so generic. There's nothing interesting or unique about the world. It's just very, like, they even call them like first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fifth quarter, and the fifth quarter is the poorest people, the first quarter is the royalty. And it's like, you couldn't even come up with like interesting names. Like, it's just so generically bland. But yeah, I guess I'll finish it, I think. I mean, I could come back and be like, nah, it really was just that boring and I'm not continuing it. But I feel like I'm just gonna finish it. Like, at this point, I don't see why not, unless it does something just absolutely super offensive at this point. It's interesting me enough just to see where it goes. But so the thing is, I've read, so far, that's all I've done, is I've read half of this book today, basically in one sitting. If I stop reading this, if I go into, like, if I stop reading it right now, and I have the rest of my day, do whatever the rest of my day, and try to come back to this, tomorrow, I might not want to. I'm thinking that if I put this down, it would be a DNF because I have no urge to pick this up really, because I'm just continuing on a long stream of reading this book. I'm okay, but I will not want to pick it up again if I put it down. So I think that's going to depend on if we DNF it, is if I am able to finish it today. I think that's really what it's going to be about. So I'm going to go and continue listening, because I am listening to this one. I definitely probably would have DNF'd it if I was just physically reading it one, because when you physically read, you do need like a motivating factor. I feel like when you're listening to a book, you can, especially if it's like, again, this is a bare bones plot. There's nothing intricate, fancy, nothing. I could probably not listen for half an hour and still understand what's going on. That's how generic this thing is. So I can kind of passively listen to this one almost. That's kind of what I'm doing. I'm doing a little painting thing that I got from Michael's. So I'm going to continue. I'm going to see where I get and if I am going to finish it. So this is a toss up. I could come back and say I DNF'd it. I could come back and say I finished it. It's whatever at this point. I don't know. It is definitely a toss-up. So let's go continue reading The Darkening. Hopefully it gets more interesting in the back half of the book. I'm like right next to one of the vents for the air, so it might be a little bit loud, but we gotta pick our next book out because it's been like 20 minutes since I last updated you, because I sat down and I started listening to this book again. Started listening to The Darkening, and then I went, why? Why? I feel like I gaslit myself into continuing reading this because it's not horrible. But like that's not a fun reading experience still. Like there's no way this gets any higher than a 3, and honestly it's more looking at like a 2.5. And then what am I gonna do? Go into this one and not enjoy myself reading this one either? Like what was I thinking? Like what was I actually thinking when I decided to continue reading this one? That was a very confusing decision. That is not a normal decision that I would make. So I am DNFing this like at 230-ish pages, I think is what I said. Whatever I said last time. Chapter 18, chapter 19, something like that. I think I read like one more chapter or 2 more chapters. About 230. So about 230 is where we're gonna DNF this one, because I'm not enjoying it. I'm not enjoying my time reading this. I do not want to read the sequel. I don't want to continue with this. Don't like the romance. Don't really like anything. Or it's not even that I don't like it. I just don't care. I don't care. So why would I continue this to then read this? I don't see why I would do that. So I did look up the second book just to make sure, because if there is a possibility of like the romance changing, then I would continue, finish The Darkening, and then start The Lightning. Is that what it's called? The Light Struck, because that can really switch up the mood of a book series, changing the romance up. But no, it doesn't. It's the same romance. I thought it was gonna change. Like there was a moment that I was like, okay, I can see this being a switcheroo kind of situation where like other stuff is actually going on with this romance, and then they change who the romance actually is. I thought that was gonna happen. No, it doesn't. And apparently people hate the second book. It is very rare for a second book to be rated lower than the first, because generally more people read a first book. The people who don't like the first book rate it 1 to 2 stars, and then they don't continue. So later books in the series just tend to be higher because of that. This one's lower. Which this already has a 3.55. Like it's not doing great. And I can see why. Like I feel like a 3, it is just so average. Like I feel like a 3.5 makes sense because this is just so bland. I feel like on Goodreads, a 3.5 is bland, boring, not very good. If it's like a 3.0, that means it's like really bad. that's more negative than positive. But 3.5 is what, yeah, I can see that on Goodreads. I would give it probably a 3 if I finished it. This one's got a 3.4. Do you know how weird that is to see a lower rating on a later book? It's just very strange, especially under that 3.5 mark as well. So people really did not like this one. And a lot of people said that it just doesn't feel like a good conclusion to a story. Like you don't get anywhere with the romance. The romance seems like it's really half-baked and isn't done very well, and you get no kind of conclusion. And I was like, oh, definitely don't want to read it then. Definitely don't want to read it then. So I am getting rid of The Light Struck, and I am DNFing The Darkening. So right now we will be reading Spells for Forgetting. I'm nervous about this one because I've liked Adrienne Young before, but not a lot of people have liked this book. So that makes me a little bit nervous, but this one sounds interesting. It is different than other stuff that we've read. I want to say it's like lighter fantasy. So I am curious what this one's going to be like. But no matter what, we are at least getting to the ones we burn, which is interesting because I feel like I have no interest in this one. So that one may be a quick DNF if it doesn't immediately interest me in the story. So we could get through a couple of these because I don't know about Cruel Illusions either. Oh, I have liked a Margie Fustin. I don't know how to say her name. I have liked one of her books before though, so that could be a good thing. And then I think Seven Faceless Saints is here. So we'll see. There's some options. There's some things that could happen. But for right now, we're going to go read Spells for Forgetting. I feel like this is becoming a really weird vlog because I'm just like not updating. I promise I did not finish the next book. I'm very close to finishing the next book though. I will finish it this morning. I'm reading Spells for Forgetting. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm so excited that I'm liking this one. I actually just went on and ordered a Sea of Unspoken Things from Mercari, the Fairyloot edition, because I didn't buy it because I wanted to see if I actually liked Adrienne Young, because we know The Unmaking of June Farrow, one of my favorite book the year that I read it, and I think it was one of our book club picks. Loved it. I could tell you the whole plot. I'm obsessed with it still. This vlog is going to be a little bit weird because yet again, I am almost done with this book. I did stop and I was like, no, I have to update you guys. So I am 57% into Spells for Forgetting. I'm loving it. I'm loving it so far. I'm having such a good time. I'm loving the mystery. It has lost me a little bit with the point of view switching. I do think there's way too much point of view switching. There's way too many people we're seeing perspectives from. But I understand why we're doing it, because this is a murder mystery. Like, that's what this book is. This feels more like a murder mystery with a little bit of magical realism sprinkled in there. I can understand why people did not like this, because at least like with the Unmaking of June Farrow, which we know I loved, that definitely, I mean, it had time travel in it. Like, it definitely had a magical, obvious magical thing in it. This one doesn't. This one kind of just briefly talks about little magical things going on, but this really is just a straight up murder mystery, and it's having to do with like island politics. Oh, there's a massive butterfly. Island politics. Is it a butterfly or that's a hummingbird? Is that a hummingbird? The problem is it's going so fast. I think it's a butterfly. It's not flying like a hummingbird. That was, it was going so fast that I couldn't see it. So I was like, wait a minute, is it a hummingbird? Because we do have hummingbirds that randomly will come over here. See, there it is again. I think it's a butterfly. I'm very distracted. But yeah, so it is a more of a murder mystery. So I can understand people expecting an adult fantasy, getting this book and being like, I don't really like this. So I get it. For me, I love it. I love it. I'm having such a good time with this book. I am curious if it's going to be a 4 or a 5 star when we get to the ending. I can see this emotionally devastating me. But yeah, I'm very much enjoying this book. I do think from the beginning, it was like a very obvious thing what was happening, if that is actually the route that it's going. So like, I have a guess of what is happening. And if that is what happened, I'm not going to be like that upset about it. I can see people being upset because it is incredibly predictable, like so predictable based on clues that we were given. But again, if that's the case, it doesn't feel like it was necessarily trying to hide the fact that that was what was going on. So I think there's like one twist that's going to happen that is going to be like really obvious, and it's not supposed to actually be a twist. Like, we're supposed to have known this from the context clues that were given. But I am curious who actually killed the person. So this is following our main character. And I will say this is following 2 primary main characters, and then we have some other points of view that were thrown in there. But we're following 2 main characters, Ellery and, oh, I cannot remember his name, and they say it so much. They say his name so often. I still can't remember. I think it begins with an A. But we're following our 2 main characters, and they were childhood sweethearts on this island, and there was like a friend group. So I even remember Dutch. It's Ellery, Dutch, Lily. Lily's the one who died, and then Autumn, August, Dutch, Ellery, and Lily are like this friend group, and you're getting a little bit of that from the past, which I actually appreciate and I do think adds to the story. But there was this tragic thing that happened, and a lot of people think that it was murder, and the girl Lily ended up passing away in this fight. Maybe no, because there was the fire was like separate. Like she was found, the fire was separate. Very complicated. But there was like a fire at this orchard, which is like the big tourist draw of this like isolated island town. And then Lily was found dead, and everyone thinks that August murdered her because he had no alibi. Everyone was friends. They're suspicious about what happened. But Ellery never thought that he did it, but then he disappeared from the island. So we are like, God, we're years later, like long time later. So we are many, many years later, and August's mother has died and requested that she be buried on the island. And so he has to come back, but the entire island still thinks, besides a couple people, still think that he killed her for unknown reasons. They don't have like a lot of reasons, but they believe that like they were potentially in a secret relationship or something like that. That's kind of the main plot, is we are many years later trying to still figure out what happened to Lily. And there's like some political intrigue and maneuvering within like the council on the island, and there's like other reasons, like weird things are going on with the orchard, and it's so fascinating. It's so fascinating. It's so good. I am addicted to this book, and I'm very excited to see what happens at the end, and I think it's gonna have a really, really, really good emotional impact. It's very much reading like it's just like drama. It's like a family generational drama where you have so many people with their hands in the cookie jar, and everybody is kind of caught, but they're all trying to hide what they're doing. It's so good. It's so good. So anyway, this morning I'm gonna listen to this while I go to the store. I'm gonna go run to Hobby Lobby. I was gonna run to Michael's because I want to get another paint by numbers thing. I actually really enjoyed doing that yesterday. It was very distracting, very nice, and it turned out really cute. So I kind of want to get like a bigger one, and that's kind of my goal. I'm gonna go to Hobby Lobby to try and find that, and then I also need to run to the grocery store really, really fast. So that's the plan, and then I'll let you know when I finish Spells for Forgetting. But I have already bought because I didn't. So like I said, I wasn't buying sequels, which technically it's not a sequel, but I'd only ever read Unmaking of June Farrow by Adrienne Young. No, I read one of her young adult books, but I only read an adult version of her book, June Farrow. Loved it. And then I didn't read Spells for Forgetting, and I hadn't seen like the best things about it. So when they came out with A Sea of Unspoken Things, also didn't hear great things about it. So I didn't buy it. And you can't buy it from Fairyloot anymore, but I found someone who was selling it for like $35, which is what I would buy it from Fairyloot as. So I did actually purchase that, and I'm really excited. So I might read that in the members only video whenever that shows up. So far in the members only video, that's kind of a accidental thing from this. It's going to be the sequel to This Vicious Grace and A Sea of Unspoken Things. So I'm really excited to do that. Again, you don't need to join the membership to actually see that. It'll be in my wrap up. So you'll see that in my wrap up if you don't want to join the membership to see the vlog. I try to make sure that nothing is really actually behind a paywall. Like if you want to see extra bonus vlogs and movie reviews, because I am working on my movie review, that's kind of what the membership is for, but you'll know everything else because of wrap-ups, so don't worry. Yeah, so let's go finish Spells for Forgetting. I'm so excited to continue reading it, and the audiobook is really, really good, so I'm having a really good time. Go get my little snackies and paint by numbers, and we're gonna have a fun day. We have finished Spells for Forgetting, and I'm really actually sad about this one because I really thought this was a 5-star for like 70% of the book. I loved so much about this book, but unfortunately it is gonna be a 4-star. I did not like how this book ended. Well, I liked what ended up happening with the murder in the past. Like, I like how it was resolved, but I don't like how the current day dealing with it was resolved. Does that make sense? I like what the twist actually was. Like, I like what actually happened in the past, but I don't like how the book dealt with it in the current day once everything was revealed. I got quite irritated by that, actually. And I think it was just a very anticlimactic ending in general. I feel like I didn't get that big emotional moment that I kind of wanted in this book. It definitely ended up feeling a little bit flat, and I do think part of that is because of all of the point of view switches. I feel like that was so unnecessary, and I do think that took a little bit away from the story. And I'm just like really sad because this could have been like a 6-star book. Like, I was thinking this was going to be S tier, potentially favorite book of the year, like in contention for it, and unfortunately it did fall flat because of how that probably last 50 pages went. That's pretty much when it fell apart. So I still really enjoyed it. I do like what happened with the murder mystery. I do like how it did bring a little bit more magic into the story at the end, which do I like that? I'm actually thinking, do I like the magic in this? I almost feel like this book didn't need magic. I feel like it could have stood on its own just as a murder mystery, as a mystery book, and I almost would have liked it better. So maybe the magic was the problem in this book. Maybe that's what the actual problem is. Anyway, I'm still giving it 4. Actually, I still really enjoyed it. Like, me saying that I was disappointed by the ending, everything was still really good about this book. I just really thought it was going to be a 5 or even a 6-star book. So, still very much enjoyed it. 4-star. Very excited to read other books by this author. Now, this is when we get to the Purge part of the Purge, because normally when I finish a book, I do try and, like, start the next book. And we've got 2 that we're getting rid of. We're getting rid of the next 2. So I did end up trying The Ones We Burn, and I actually gave this quite a bit of time. I want to say, ooh, I actually did not get very far in this. I thought I got way farther. I got about 40 pages. I got about, that's a pretty good taste test. I like to get about 50 pages, but I got to about 40, and I just don't think anything is particularly interesting about this one. And this one, like, didn't do anything egregious, but I am not finding any, I'm just not interested in it. I'm not interested in it. I don't really want to read it. And to be honest, I just don't really like this cover either. Like, I didn't like it when we got it. I don't like it now. So the fact that I think this was a 2022 release, like, we're still in 2022 for some of these, and I haven't picked it up, and that's about 4 years ago, and me reading the first 40 pages, I'm just kind of like, yeah, I mean, it's fine. Like, there's nothing egregious about it. It just kind of exists. I feel like I just don't want to read it. So I don't really have anything, like, massively negative to say about well, there is no world building. I definitely think that is the biggest issue with this. There is no world building. I think if there was more world building at the beginning of this, I would have been more interested, but it kind of just dumps you into this story because we're following our main character, who is a blood witch, and she was chosen to marry the prince for some sort of treaty thing. I think it has to do with powers. Again, it wasn't really explained very well, and it wasn't explained why the witches are versus the humans are, like, a thing. Like, that wasn't explained really either. And in the first 40 pages, like, that's crazy, it's only been 40 pages now that I think about it. In the first 40 pages, we have gone through the dilemma of her turning down the prince, but that happened off page before the story started. But there's, like, a kidnapping that happens, so she changes her mind and but we don't see the kidnapping happen. It's just something that apparently also happens off page. And then we decide to go and talk to the prince and marry him, or at least go try to find the girl that was kidnapped supposedly by the royal family. But again, we didn't see that. So the first, like, 30 pages were kind of just like an inner monologue of, like, I don't want to go do this, and then suddenly it cuts to, like, 2 weeks later and she's at the castle. Like, we're at the royal city. And I was like, I know I don't like a travel story, but also that was kind of crazy to cut out that entire time span. That was kind of crazy. So I just don't think it's built very well already, and it's only been 40 pages, and it's just like, I'm just not interested in it. So if you are interested in this one, I would say try it. Again, I don't think there's anything bad or egregious about this one. It just kind of exists, and it feels like a fantasy book I've read, like, a lot. And then we did have Cruel Illusions, and I'm kind of sad about this one because I did like this author's previous work, but I'm not liking the writing in this one. Like, I think I guess actually this is older than the Revenant games. I liked the Revenant games because of what the plot is. I'm not loving this, and I didn't make it very far. I made it like 10 pages, and I really didn't like the writing. And so I'm just not convinced already that I want to read this one. Ever since a vampire murdered her mother, Ava has been determined to get revenge, but 10 years later, having survived foster home after foster home and without a single sighting of a vampire, Ava has begun to lose hope, until she stumbles upon a hidden magic show where she witnesses impossible illusions. The magicians may not be the bloodsuckers she's hunting, but Ava is convinced something supernatural is afoot. God, see, that sounds really, really good. It says Caraval meets Buffy. Okay, you know, I'm gonna give this another shot. I'm gonna try and get closer to 50 pages before I give up on this one, because that did actually sound really, really good. That just wasn't really what was happening in the first 10 pages. So I just was like, kind of totally out of it. So we are gonna try Cruel Illusions again. We're gonna retry it. We're gonna retry. I feel like I've never done this before, where I show up and I'm like, I'm DNFing this, and then I retry it. We're gonna retry this one. So we're gonna attempt Cruel Illusions. If this one doesn't work, we will be going to Spice Road, I think, next, because I think after Spice Road is Seven Faceless Saints. If this ends up being a DNF, expect a little bit of a mini review for the Spice Road next. So I just ended up taking a shower, and I have decided to end this video. I cannot continue this video. I burned out so much faster on this video than I kind of expected to, because you guys know I really like finishing 3 books, and that's kind of when the video ends. But we're just gonna have 2. We're gonna have 2 because I am so burnt out. I am so burnt out on reading. I think I just need to take a little bit of a break. I think I need to switch to mood reading. I think I'm gonna do a mood reading vlog. I thought I was gonna do one at the beginning of June, and then I chose not to, and I think that's my bad. That's my bad. So I think we're gonna switch back to mood reading. I'm having a bit of a health flare up. I'm just not the happiest with my reading currently, so I think I need to take a little bit of a break. I think I need to take a little bit of a break from doing these big projects. There's like still smaller projects that I'm going to be doing. I'm actually really excited about the project I'm about to be starting, and it has to do with the unicorn hunters, so I will be working on that. But I think it's just way different. It's like more of an analytical thing instead of just trying to read a bunch of books and decide if I like them or not. So I think I need to take a little bit of a break from that. So I think I'm gonna take a little bit of break from these book box videos. So I'll probably pause on the Purge until next month, and then I'll probably pause on reading my book box books until next month as well. So it's not that far away. It's literally 2 weeks, but I think I need a little bit of time. But I mean, we still got through a ton of stuff in this video, and to wrap it up, I did hate this. I'm so confused because the Revenant games I talked about, the Revenant games isn't the best written, it's not the best plotted, but it was fun. I hate this. I hate how this is written. I hate every single thing about this book. Very much not enjoy this book. The writing is some of the worst writing I've ever read. It's so bad, and I do not want to continue with this. And I don't feel that bad because I don't really like the cover either. That's what I'm kind of also realizing as I'm looking through these books. And I actually was desperately trying to just pick a book that I was interested in from the stacks, and I couldn't find one. And that's when I realized, I was like, this is over. This is over, because I'm not even willing to give things chances. In my head, I was like, DNF it, just get rid of 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 it. And that's when I was like, oh, I need to stop. And the video's over. The video is over. But we did actually DNF this. I don't enjoy this. I don't want to read this. This is actually atrocious. So we're not going to be reading this one. And I'm really sad because I think the premise sounds so good. There's a reason why I was attempting it a second time. But no, this actually is legitimately not good. So we are DNFing this and getting rid of this. I'm also really sad we are DNFing Spice Road, and I did actually read a little bit more of this one. I didn't read that much. I think I read like 3 chapters, and I just don't like how the story is being told already. And I know a lot of people are gonna have complaints. Actually, I think I read 4 chapters. Yeah, I think I read about 45 pages-esque. I just don't like the storytelling in this one, like how the story is told. It's just very dry, and it's very telling me every little thing and not actually showing me anything. So like the whole beginning of this book is everything that has happened before the book has started. So it's like telling me all this information, and I'm just not enjoying it, and I'm finding myself zoning out. And I don't think it has to do with burnt out. I think it legitimately is just, I just don't like this style of storytelling. So I think this book is going to be more for people who like a really dense tell type of story, a tell not show, like you just like being told a story. I like a more intimate showing in stories, and that is not what this is currently. Maybe it gets better later, but I just don't care for this one, unfortunately. So we are also gonna DNF this one, and I'm really sad about this one because it's really pretty. This is the first one in this video that we're DNFing and getting rid of that I'm like really upset about because it's really pretty, but I just really am not liking this one. I had to restart it twice because I kept zoning out and not enjoying my time reading it. So we are getting rid of Spice Road as well. So next video, we will be starting with Seven Faceless Saints, which I did try to read, and I was like, nope, nope, I'm just not feeling this video anymore. I also tried to read The Foxglove King and also went, nope, that's not happening. Also tried to read the beginning of, what else did I try? I tried The Scarlet Alchemist, and I was like, nope, brain doesn't want to do that. Also tried Temptation of Magic, The God and the Gumiho, and The Gods Below. Tried all of those as well, because I was like really trying to read a third book, and my brain for every single one was like, no, I didn't even make it a page to some of these before my brain was like, shut it down. So yeah, it was time to call it. It was time to call it. But again, we got through a lot of these. Again, normally I like doing a little bit more for these purges, but it is wrong time. Wrong time to just try and force myself through these books. So let's talk about the books that we're getting rid of. There are quite a few. Ugh, it's a lot. It's actually a lot. Like, we actually did a really, really good job. I mean, we almost cleared an entire thing right here, and we read 2 books that we actually really, really like. So we are getting rid of The Ones We Burned, which is really sad. I actually went back to The Ones We Burned, and I think other people are going to like it. I just could not get into the storytelling. And again, I reread like the beginning, and it was the same situation of I really liked the beginning, and then the second that we went to this like castle and started interacting with other people is when I immediately stopped liking the book. And so it happened both times I tried reading it. So I am sad about that one, because I do think that one had something that like had an idea, and it just didn't work for me. But yeah, DNF The Ones We Burned, DNF The Darkening 60%, and honestly I probably could have just finished The Darkening, but I didn't want to. DNF Spice Road and DNF Cruel Intentions. We are also getting rid of my copy of Lightstruck because it is the second book after The Darkening. So that is everything that we're DNFing. The only one you're going to see in a wrap up is going to be The Darkening, because everything else was at about 50 pages that we DNF'd it. And that's kind of my rule with wrap-ups, is if I DNF something under 50 pages, we don't really talk about it ever again. And then the 2 books that we read, we actually ended up reading Spells for Forgetting, gave it a 4-star, which was so close to a 5. It was so close to a 5. And then This Vicious Grace, also very close to a 5. This was also a 4-star. So we actually had 2 books that we really did enjoy, which is really exciting. And it's kind of the 2 books I thought I would like, which is interesting actually. That I feel like that feels good. That feels good. All the rest of these I was kind of like, I'm not really sure about, but like I thought I was gonna like these, and I did like these. So that's a thing. That's a thing. That's interesting. That's information. But yeah, so I had a really good time with these, and then I am going to be reading This Cursed Light and A Sea of Unspoken Things for members in their own video. Again, those will be in a wrap up whenever I end up getting to them, because I don't know when I'll get to them. But yeah, I'm gonna call it a win, because we did get through a lot of books. We're purging a lot of books. That is kind of the point of this, and we did find 2 books that I actually really, really enjoyed. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you subscribe to miss future content. If you want extra content, definitely go check out that membership if you're interested. If not, that is totally fine. Just make sure to subscribe and like the video if you did enjoy it. And if you made it this far into the video, leave a, oh, is there a lemon? Is there a lemon emoji? Leave a fruit. If there's a lemon, leave a lemon emoji if you made it this far. If not, just leave any type of fruit emoji. That works perfectly for This Vicious Grace. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys in the next video.